All right, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Digital 262 production. You're listening to Elite Talk. All right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching in another episode of Elite Talk with my man G. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Blessings, King.
All right, my man TJ. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, world?
Oh,
How's everybody feeling?
This is awesome, man. I'm really glad that we're doing this again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really glad we're doing this again. So let me ask, before we start, how was your week from the previous podcast? How did your week go? Did people actually tell you about it? Did people talk about this or what?
Yeah, ever since last week, man, everybody's been showing love, you know. People are gravitating to what we're doing, and it's very empowering and it's very inspiring, man. We just have these candid talks, you know, like we were saying before, men don't have any type of platform.
Yep.
And I feel like it's good for men to just get it out there and get their emotions out there and know that they're not alone in the journey. And then also it's good for women because it kind of taps them into the mind of a man.
Yep.
And they can understand things from a male's perspective. So it's been all love, man. We just got to keep the momentum going, man.
And it's really a lot of fun. And I want to remind the viewers that everything that we talk about comes from a male's perspective, because I know you got these ladies, man. Oh, I know you didn't say, I know you ain't talking about that and this and that.
Yeah, man.
Everything is in a male's perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And listen, like Lambert said, TJ said, man, it been all love, man, from all generations, man. People sharing, commenting, sending me text messages. Man, when you first off, shout out to everybody that actually been watched the first podcast with me and TJ, man. Shout out to everybody. That's much love. We love y'all for that, man. Blessings, kings and queens. We do bless y'all for that, man. But everybody just been just giving us love, like asking about it.
Yeah.
And you know, and of course we're gonna get the negative feedback.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's natural. But once, like P Dot said, Mr. P Dot, P Lo Dot, it's from a male's point of view. You know what I mean? This is not. We don't bash. We're not trying to bash nobody.
Exactly.
We're not on here to bash anybody.
Exactly.
It's just having a great platform for men to talk, and we're just not going to identify it as color men or identity men or whatever. It's just men, period.
And that's one thing that I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one thing I want to make clear, that we do not bash, because whenever you have a platform for men to talk, the first thing they want to do is bash it. The first thing they want to do is take it down, because all of a sudden we're not politically correct. We're bashing women. We're being homophobic, or I mean, they'll come up with a million excuses to take this podcast down. But but if people actually take the time to listen, they'll know that we're being genuine.
Yeah.
We're not talking bad about women. We're not talking about bad about any subject that we talk about. We just we like to talk about it to get a perspective. We can give people perspective of what men out here think.
If you want to know how we think, then allow us to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what this platform is for, to allow us to talk a little bit. So you can see how we think of, how we address you guys. Because y'all tell us we want to be vulnerable. And it don't mean that we got to cry. We got to be vulnerable. We want to have a voice and say, listen, this is how we feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Vulnerability is just essentially, it's not being overly emotional. It's just, being naked, being exposure. We're exposing our our innermost feelings, and our insecurities are things that we may be struggling with. Those are things that we want to get out because we feel like if it's bottled up, it's just not going to be good for anybody. And we don't want to be self-destructive. I mean, that's the beauty with what we're doing. We all have 3 different personalities, We were joking the other day, it's like fire and ice, you got Davis, he's more expressive, he's more opinionated, and he's loud, he's animated, which is the beauty in him. Then you got me, I'm more cool, calm, collected. I'm the ice, the logical one, just the one that's settles things down a little bit. And then we got my man Pilo over here, he's like the neutralizer. He's in between, so That's what life's all about, man. You may not like what we have to say, but that's the beauty in life. You know, everyone has a different opinion, and we just have to learn from differences.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this disclosure in here real quick. You know, we all wearing the same color. Now, listen, we didn't call each other
Not at all.
to say we're gonna wear red and black.
Not at
We
all.
want y'all to understand we didn't call each other on it. It just perhaps that we brothers.
When you guys first walked in and I saw the color, I felt a little left out because I'm thinking they must have talked.
Yeah.
They must have said something because I'm wearing black. These guys wearing red. Oh, man, come on,
No,
man.
hey, it's a mixture.
I
red
wasn't
and
at it in the email look.
No, not at all. Just a natural gravitation, you know.
Yeah, man.
You know.
True brothers, man. That's how we do it. That's how we operate.
But I want to remind everyone to please, if you like these podcasts, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, hit that follow button. Because by you doing that, that allows us to continue to do this. So please support us by hitting that like button. Tell your friends, share these videos, because these videos are very helpful, very informational, and they're very good. So with that being said, let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, and we have a few subjects I want to bring to the table today.
Okay.
But the first one is something that's very interesting. That's interracial dating. Okay. I want to talk about interracial dating.
Okay.
All right. So and the reason I say that because there's still a stigma out there, with interracial dating. We're in the year 2022.
Yeah.
And it's still a taboo. I want to say it's still a taboo, and I know a lot of people might not agree with it, especially the younger people watching these podcasts. Oh, it's just normal. We see it all the time, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm 42 years old, so when I see it, even me, when I see it, it's not a shocker, and I don't see it as negative, obviously, but it still like stands out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when advertisers on TV, they don't really particularly like to put a black and a white couple together.
Yeah.
You see a shoe commercial, you see a whatever type of commercial. Whenever you see an interracial couple, that's seen as being risque. You know what I mean? That's seen as being a little out of the box especially for advertisers.
Yeah.
And it's amazing for me that in 2022, it's still a taboo. You know what I mean? So that begs the question: is that why is it still a taboo, and why do you guys believe that? Let's say a white male, dating a black female. Do you believe, and I'll start with you, DJ, do you believe that there is an intellectual connection, or do you believe it's something else when you see a white male dating a black female?
Honestly, man, I'll just use my experience as an example. Like, I've dated, I encourage everyone to, if you're naturally gravitated to, if you're a black man or a black woman, and you naturally gravitate to a black man or you're someone of your culture, then that's okay too. But I feel like love, and when it comes to relationships, I feel like it honestly doesn't have a color. Do we all notice color? Absolutely. Yeah. I hate when people say, I don't see color.
No, right.
That's
colorblind.
That's a bunch of BS. We all notice. I noticed that you're a white woman. I noticed that you're a Hispanic woman. But that shouldn't be a barrier. If a person treats you right, if a person does you well, they're good for your soul, then I feel like, why not? And you can also utilize it as a learning experience. But when I see for your example, if I see like a white man dating a black woman, I do have a couple thoughts that go on in my mind. That initially, I look at their age and their demographic. Like, is he an older white man? Is she a younger black woman? And then when I see scenarios like that, I'm like, well, that's a sugar daddy, sugar baby situation.
Right. So even to you, there's still a kind of a bit of a taboo.
It's like a stability for that young black woman. It could be a stability for her because he's older, he's established, and it's a sense of normality. She probably ran through her toxic partners or whatever, and she got tired of that, being let down, being in relationships with unreliable young men that are irresponsible, their credit's not together, they're just running the streets, have all these kids, but then they have this older man who, he has his stuff together. So I think about that, and I also think about the aspect of, is she a fetish? You know what I mean? Because, like, everyone's attracted to what's taboo and what's different. Yeah. And you think back like, well, is he dating her because she's a fetish and she's a good look? And there's also, me and my boys, we joke around too. We always say when we see a black man in an interracial relationship with the white woman doesn't really look apart. You know what I mean? Right. She looks a certain way versus when a white guy is with a black woman, he's with a bad black woman. Like her body is together. She make anybody look like damn, you know what I mean? So there's a different dynamic when it comes to that, but it poses those two questions ultimately. But I'm not the one to judge. Like if I see two people and they're together, I don't know why they're together. The guy can have a wonderful personality. He could treat her well. They can have a natural connection. They can have that chemistry. Yeah. Or it could be all of the perceived notions that I had in my head. I don't know, but I'm not the one to judge that. I believe that people should do what makes them happy, and people should do what they want in life, you know? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's true. I could say the same thing, thinking like, why? Yeah. That'd be the biggest question, why?
Mm-hmm. Why is the male dating the black female? Why is,
that or vice versa. Right. Why? Or any culture, to be honest with you. Right. Because, we don't want to just say black and white. We can say black and Hispanic and white and Hispanic. Like, I done seen a Asian with a black girl. It's like, why? Yeah. Do I think it's wrong? It is wrong if we thinking of something of, outside of the why. Not thinking of like,
is it wrong to think like that? Is that what you're saying, or is it wrong to be in an interracial
to think like that? Yeah, because it's not wrong to be in any type of relationship because you don't know who you may fall in love with. Yeah, yeah. It could be the total opposite. I done like my brother said, I dated a Filipino. I done dated black, of course. I done had an Indian. It's just all of their, their personality that makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? It may just be why that white man got that black woman, and also it can go into a term of that black woman, if that's what we're using right now, that she was damaged. Yeah. And I'm sorry for us black men. Yeah, we damage females. I'm sorry. And no, I'm not putting down men. Right. I'm not. Again, we're not here to bash nobody, but we have our times where we damage women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's vice versa. Women damage men. Yeah. So it goes to, sometimes they go to opposite color or ethic or whatever we want to call it. Yeah. So the question always come up, why? Do we know? No, unless we get up and go ask them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a psychological aspect too. Oh, yeah. Because it's like, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. Right. So if a black woman has dated, let's say, majority black men, and she's been let down her entire experience doing that, and she's like, what, I'm tired of this. I deserve better. Let me go on the other side and see, what it's like. And a lot of the times, I mean, it's better on that side, Exactly. But it, like I said, it ultimately depends. I feel like people naturally judge. Yeah. That's just human nature. It's not wrong to think certain things, but it is wrong to hold on to that and have that be a determinator. You know what I mean? We all think, oh, well, people judge me all the time when they see me and they think I'm a certain way. But when they get to know me and talk to me and they realize like, oh, like you were completely different than what I thought. So that's just how, us human beings, we got to operate in life,
So being in law enforcement for a while, and, doing security and, one of my jobs, I was a security guard at Chuck E. Cheese, and I seen a lot of that. Yeah. I seen an older man come with a younger black chick and all her little babies, and I'm sitting there looking like, and I'm confused. But then I'm thinking like, okay, it can play as he can be a sugar daddy to make sure these kids is good, yeah, or she was damaged. She found somebody that will treat her right and her kids. Yeah. Because that's what women look for. That's the A1 thing that women look for. If you date me, are you going to take care of my kids or are you going to love my kid? Right. It could be that. I don't know.
And that begs the question, why is it that it has to be that way? For example, if a white man is dating a white woman, it's for us we can assume that it's an intellectual thing. They love each other. There's no boundaries. There's no reasoning. It's just they fell in love. Yeah. But when you see an interracial relationship, there has to be a reason why they're together.
It's the stigma. That's just how the world is. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I was reading an article like last week, and because I'm really into stuff like that. I like to just read a lot of different, material about like culture and race relations.
I thought you was finna say you date,
Anyway, let's just keep it pushing. This guy. So basically, I was reading the article. The article stated that I think the percentage was like over almost 70%, like 68% of people actually prefer dating and marrying a person that is of the same race as them.
Yeah,
because
true.
It's a comfort.
Agreed.
You know, it's like a culture thing. You know, the same music, the same references. When you go out in society, you are more accepted because it's like, oh, that's normal. Or if you have children together, your child doesn't have to really necessarily go through the struggle of being a product of interracial marriage. You know. Not feeling black enough, not feeling white enough to that crowd. They don't have to go through those type of experiences. So I feel like, me personally, I didn't really agree with the article. I just feel like people gravitate to what they like. Yeah. Like you see the old man at Chuck E. Cheese, old white man at Chuck E. Cheese, and the woman's black and she's younger. I mean, some people, and people are afraid to talk about this, but let's just throw it out there. Some people have preferences.
That's true.
It may not have to do anything about the psychology behind it or what the person does for them.
Agreed.
They could just, she could just be an older white man, you know, and people are ashamed to say that because they feel like it's wrong, but you're not wrong. You just have to own what you like. You like what you like. Some people like variations of different individuals, but some people do have a type, you know. You look at the last 10 boyfriends, they're all older men, white men, you know, so that's just her thing. So that exists as well.
Oh, yeah. And I see it all the time. You know, my wife, I'm Puerto Rican. My wife is Puerto Rican. Yeah. I'm black. She's white Puerto Rican. Okay. And I still see whenever we go out, I still feel the eyes of people. Even
you said she's white Puerto Rican?
She's white Puerto Rican. So if you see my wife, she looks like a white woman. But she, you will never know she's Puerto Rican until she opens her mouth. Yep. Same thing with me. Okay. You know, you would never know I was Puerto Rican until I opened my mouth, and you get a little hint of the accent. You know,
honestly, your giveaway was when you opened up your mouth, and then obviously your last name. Yeah. But if I were to just see you out somewhere, I probably assume you're a brother.
If I say, what's up, Lambo? Yeah. Yeah. So it's you would never know. So, but whenever we go out, you know, they I feel the stares, and it makes me sad, man, because I'm thinking, man, we're living in an age where things have changed so much, but there's still that stigma in people's minds, you know. And then the thing about it is when they hear us talk and they know we're Puerto Rican, it's like, that makes sense. Yeah. You know, I'm like, man, this sucks. That really sucks. But it sucks that, you know, we still live at that age where
you can't judge a book by its cover. You have to open it up and read it, you know, and decide whether or not you like it, because once you read it, you can make an objective decision, but you can't make that decision just looking at the cover.
Yeah, exactly.
And that really goes as far, you know, it's not even just a cultural thing of black and white or whatever. So that goes far of what he said as a, you know, opening the book, because don't judge me. Yeah, I'm a big guy. Don't judge me because I'm a big guy. Yeah. Because you don't know what the type of guy I am. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't know where I come from. Yeah. You know, you don't know my background. You say and I'm just saying from my point of view, women say, oh, I was hurt, you know, or men hurt me or whatever. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to love you.
I'm not him.
I'm not him.
Yeah.
But then if you manage to stereotype me and put me in a category, I don't want to. One thing I hate nowadays that most females want these video guys, once again, if we're going to get on that, you know, the Cardis, the dreads, they love that. Yeah. But then that one dude with the Cardis and the dreads managed to hurt them. Yeah. Now, what? So a guy like me that's going to come into your world and try to change things and help you, you know, mend this broken heart, you don't want to talk to me.
It's almost like, and then if they are receptive, it's almost like you're the garbage man.
Exactly.
Because you have to deal with that baggage that was created by that type of guy. Exactly. And you're not even that guy. I mean, not only that, if they have children, you have to. They may not be involved in their life. You got to pick up slack on every side of the fence. You know what I mean? So. I mean, I definitely understand that, man. I get what you're saying.
That hits hard due to the fact it can go for the black and white. Once again, we can revert right back to that. That black woman even young or old, possibly was hurt.
Oh yeah.
And she was hurt by her culture, and it's vice versa.
Yeah.
So then, like he said earlier, let me go to the other side and see how it is. And she found that one guy, that one Caucasian guy that was like, yeah, I'm gonna treat you right. If that dude ain't gonna, I'm gonna treat you right.
Yeah.
So then it goes back to us. We got to do the same thing. We're trying to do the same thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can go all around. That line is long when it comes down to that.
Yeah, life is long, man. You live long enough, you get tired of just being in toxic situations. Right. You want to find your peace.
Yeah.
Right. And if that man gives you your peace and he happens to be white, or that woman gives you that peace and she happens to be Hispanic or Asian or whatever, right? People shouldn't be ashamed of that, you know.
Right.
Like we have to change the trajectory of how things have been going, you know. And
when we see things changing, I was doing a little bit of research, especially here in Wisconsin. There's a little city named Menominee Falls.
Okay.
Wisconsin, and Menominee Falls has the highest concentration of interracial children out of the whole state of Wisconsin.
Menominee Falls,
and then second was Waukesha. And then third was Milwaukee, I believe.
That's interesting. Especially Waukesha.
Yeah, and I believe it was a little bit like 35% or something that was interracial kids.
Okay,
and so there's definitely a change in times, and I got a feeling it's going to get better as far as the stigma, it's kind of with the new generation and the older generation kind of dying off. I think it's going to get better, and I hope it does, because I really don't want my children to live in a world where they have to be,
feel like they have to make a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
About their identity.
Yeah. The question comes behind that is, how will it get better? Do it have to be shown more? Do it have to be taught more? Like, how do it get better where it can that can happen and it can be okay without the why?
But it has to be accepted more,
and
right?
It has to be accepted. So then if it's accepted more and it's shown that this is what it is and there's no why, because that's the biggest thing, is the why. That's all it is the why.
Right.
Why these two together?
You also got to look at the demographic as well, because Wisconsin, we're one of the most, we have our right-siders or whatever, but you have people like, Wisconsin is very liberal.
Oh yeah,
especially in comparison to places like Texas, places in Mississippi, Georgia, Florida. I can just only imagine the struggles that interracial relationships have in those regions. Wisconsin is mild. You still have when I've been in situations where I was dating someone, a white woman or Asian or whatever, I got a lot of stares. Sometimes from my own, like an older black woman will be looking at me and or a black man and shaking his head or looking at me with disgust, like I'm doing something wrong. And it's just, you deal with that. But I feel like there's a degree of that in other regions of the world, But I think it's gradually getting better. I think there's more of a tolerance. There's more commercials that show not only interracial relationships, but also same-sex relationships as well. So I feel like the world is slowly changing, and it's becoming more widely accepted.
Yeah. I want to pose a question since we're in the subject. What do you guys think of is when you see a white man dating a black female? Do you believe that white man sees this black female as a forbidden fruit? You know what I mean?
I'll let you go.
Is it something like a trophy or a show off? Is it like something that, it's a forbidden fruit, so he feels he has to have it? It's almost like a thrill to be with that black woman.
It can go back to that question of why. But sometimes it can be a trophy type. It could be where that man, I done seen, again, I've been in law enforcement for a minute and seen it, where a man will walk past and his chest is poked out and he like, look what I got. You don't have this. And I'm looking like, bruh, only if you probably knew. Because when you leave, I guarantee you finna have a whole conversation. And have I heard that too? Me walking past being nosy. Girl, guess what he finna buy? So to me, I feel it could be a trophy. And I don't think it's just I think it's a conquering, to conquer something.
Yeah, right.
That's to conquer this, like.
I feel like it could go both ways. Like that does exist. I have seen that where, you know, the man, he does poke his chest out and he walks a little different, especially when he sees a brother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he got a fine black woman on his arm, and he's like, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like it's like I got one up on you. But I've also seen it the other way around, where there'll be a black man with a white woman, and he sees a black woman or whatever, or a group of black women, and then he's like sticking his nose up like he's better. So I do feel like that does exist, but I also feel like it could have started off that way. Like it could have been like a forbidden fruit situation, quote unquote. But then you actually got to know the person and you were physically involved, and then you start, somebody gonna catch feelings, you know, if not both people. So it could have started that way, but then it's like, all right, we were intimate and stuff, and I've been spending more time with you. I really like you. Yeah. So I feel like it can go either way. There's so many different variations of that.
Yeah.
That's why I say the why.
Right.
Like again, it just goes back to the why.
It always goes back to the why.
Because we just don't know. Because just like even when we look at black women, it's just like either we trying to get it to have it as a trophy, or we trying to get it to say, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
But the why of why I want that.
Right.
Yeah. I've had somebody ask me that. They're like, how do you feel as a black man, like when you see that in public? When you see like a white man with a black woman on his arm and, you know, she looks good, she's a baddie. I'm like, I don't have any reaction.
Right.
I just hope she's happy.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? I want people to be happy. I want people to do what they want to do, you know, whatever that is. If you want to be with an alien, if you want to be with whoever, I don't care. If you want to be with someone of the same sex, right. It has no bearing or no effect on my life. My bank account still is what it is. You know, I'm still thriving, doing well. I just hope that you find your peace and happiness with the person you decide to be with. Yeah. And that's an approach that everyone should take in life. You know, we can't judge people. Right. We have to promote self positivity and positive things for people. And, you know, so I don't feel any way off it. Yeah. How do you feel when you see it?
And be honest though. When you see an interracial couple walking towards you, do they stand out to you?
Yeah.
To be honest, no. And the reason I say that because I don't know the dynamic of their relationship. I can look at them and be like, sometimes, especially if his white man got a bad, my dude,
right? She bad and he a lame, you know. And you looking like, how make it make sense?
He ain't that right.
How did this happen?
You know, and sometimes you again to go back to that why, and you
like he gotta have money, or he gotta be able to. He probably know how to do something really well, you know, or he got something, you know.
So you know, but then I just kind of be like, hey, if it whatever floats her boat, whatever floats his boat. I'm not in that relationship, so I don't know. Because then guess what? What if it was me? Yeah. And one of them was sitting there. Yeah. What would they say? Yeah. You know, just like, you know, like I said in the last podcast, I like smaller women. You know, I'm big and I got this little toothpick right here. Yeah. They're gonna be like, huh? That's different. Right. They're gonna why? Yeah. Or I done seen it where it's two healthier people. You kind of like, huh? Yeah. Like, whoa. But that's none of our business, right? Right. But we always go back to that why.
Always go back.
Yeah.
It always goes to that
nature.
Why. It's human nature of that why. It's just,
we're curious creatures, but we have to also do our homework, do our research, and like I said, open up that book and read it so then you know what it is.
Yeah. Be more like dogs. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. When I mean be like a dog when a dog want to know what's up, what that dog gonna go do?
He go sniffing around.
He gonna sniff around.
Evaluate the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the dog may not tell you nothing because the dog gonna be like, okay, I guess that's what this is. Yeah. And then he gonna go on about his business. Right. So if we manage to be more like dogs and just, even if we don't go up and just say why y'all together, we just be like, she probably happy. Yeah. He probably happy.
How would you feel if I came into your house and told you, hey, that shouldn't be in the fridge, that shouldn't be on the couch, that shouldn't be, I don't like the way this is. We got to look at it that way. You can't, people get upset. People are so quick to criticize other people. Like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Right. But at the end of the day, you can't get upset for someone living their truth and living their life. You have to accept that, because you'll be pissed if somebody told you how to live your life.
That's true.
So that's just a valuable thing or a valuable perception to just look at when you're dealing with people in general, not even just interracial relationships or whatever.
True. Yeah.
Whatever decision they decide to make in their life, they have to live with that. I have to live with my decisions, and I feel my happiness. I could probably see it, but I can't feel that person's happiness with them being with this person. But that's not for me. And, more people should think like that.
It's none of my business. I can say that. It's really none of my business.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you good, I'm good. Hey, you got a sister?
Hey, on that note, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this podcast, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow button. Tell your friends about us.
Oh, yeah.
The podcast, Elite Talk, with my man TJ and my man G. Yeah. So transitioning to another conversation, man. I'm glad we had that conversation, man. And it actually taught me a lot too, because I've never really, I was always afraid to have this conversation with other people.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a different opinion, everyone has something to say. And then sometimes people, if you ask the wrong person, they're going to give you their political thoughts, and they might tell you something you don't want to hear. So sometimes you just kind of back off and just say, you know what, I'm going to keep that to myself. And and I'm not even going to talk about it. So I'm glad we had this conversation.
That's the thing I live by. I don't ask anybody a question I don't want the answer to. And I have to keep in mind, like, they can react this way or this way, and either way I got to be okay with it. Because I'm the one that initiated that.
Exactly. And I want to remind everyone too, if you have any questions for these two gentlemen, don't ask me nothing, because I'm not going to answer nothing. But if you have a question for Mr. G or Mr. TJ, write it down. Click on that description link underneath this video. Ask your question. We will read it on our podcast. We will answer it on our podcast. And towards the end of this podcast, I'm going to read some questions that some of you viewers have asked from our last podcast. So stay tuned. But I want to kind of touch this subject a little bit. And G, you brought up this subject when you sent me this text. It's about the forbidden fruit, about the temptation of men. And that's a very great subject, because I believe that temptation. And I remember, Lambo, we were talking about what is it? The seven sins of men.
The 7 deadly sins.
The 7 deadly sins: temptation, lust.
We kind of agreed that amongst men, at least like 75-80% of men, that's our biggest sin, is lust.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say 100%.
Okay.
100%. And the reason
every man in the world.
Every man in the world. You know what? And even. And I'm going to say this, but you know what? We're being honest here, right?
Yeah.
Even the men of cloth. Okay. Even men who take vows to God himself, that they're never going to sin in that aspect. Temptation, the temptation of the flesh, the temptation of the man is still always present. Temptation is something that it's biblical, and it's something that men will always have to struggle with for the rest of humanity. But how do we control that, especially now, this day of age where things are different? Where back when I was growing up, you'd be surprised to see a woman in a two-piece suit out in the beach. They're always dressed up and completely. And nowadays, women have spaghetti strings on, and you can be with your woman and you can't help but to look. You can't help but to have thoughts in your head as a man. You're always going to have that arousal moment wherever you see a beautiful woman. And temptation, how do you deal with temptation?
So is that your number, 100?
I believe it's 100.
So what's the variation of it? Is it because there's different degrees of lust? There's the actual, it's thoughts, having certain sexual urges and feelings and temptations within you. And then there's also the variation of, which is the next level, is actions. Actually acting on how you feel or what you think. So what variation of that do you feel like men lie in the 100%?
I believe that,
both, or just one or the other?
Well, let me take it back a little bit. I've always been raised in a Christian home, biblical home. And I've always thought that, having that aspect of a man, that feeling, love for another woman, has always been a gift from God. So if a man, let's say a man of the cloth kind of separates themselves from that gift, you know, the flesh is going to attack them even more. And this is just my opinion. It's going to come at them more, and most men do not know how to deal with that. So I'm not saying most men are going to act upon it, you know, but they're always going to have that thought. They're always going to have that temptation. Temptation is always going to be present. Right. So how do you, and the question is, us as men, right? How do we deal with, because me specifically, I'm a married man. I don't want that temptation, you know, because temptation leads to other things. Absolutely. But how do we control it? Especially if you're out and about and you're on the beach and you see this beautiful hot woman with a spaghetti string 2-piece suit, you know, how do you stop yourself, or how do you control yourself from staring, you know, the whole time you're there at the beach, you know, and offending your wife or your girlfriend or anybody around, you know, or having naughty thoughts, or, you know, actually going out and talking to her. How do you control that?
I just think you have to develop, it's not easy at all. Temptation
it's not at all.
It's around the corner, you know. You think of lust, the aspect of it, even biblically, historically, kingdoms have fallen because of a man's lust for a woman. Wars have started because of lust. So it's pretty deep, man. It's deeply within us. But when I say self-discipline, I mean, you got to think about, like, what I do. I think about, like, the consequences. I think about, you know, if I submit to defeat, how am I going to feel afterwards? You know, I think long term. I'm definitely, I identify with being a long term thinker. So I think if I commit this act, or if I fall into this temptation, then what's going to be my consequences? And I map it out. Consequence A, consequence B, C, D. These could potentially happen. And I don't want these certain things to happen. I don't want my life to change because I just got into a moment of lust. You know, it's not worth it, big picture. And also the aspect of avoidance, you know. You can avoid being in a lot of stuff, you know, out here if you're not involved in it. I'm not saying stay in the house and just sit on the couch and not.
Is that something realistic, right?
Not run the streets, not just put yourself in positions to where the temptation is right there, you know. But people would argue that they'll say someone's an alcoholic, right? And they'd say an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic, say a person's been sober for 7-8 years and they haven't been around liquor at all. So that's why they've been sober so long. But a person would say that person should be able to go to a bar and liquor be all around, and they have that self-control and that discipline and not even think about drinking at all. I do agree with that somewhat, but I also believe that if something's there, it makes it easier for you to do it. So I feel like I'd rather just avoid it altogether. I don't have to prove or justify my self-discipline. But that's not of me anymore. I don't need to participate or partake in these things anymore. So I feel like just avoiding situations altogether will help as well.
But TJ, do you believe as a man, do you actually have to be present to feel the temptation? You know, because men, you know, men have natural needs, and you know, so those thoughts, even by watching television or listening to the radio, you know, internet, whatever, you know, you're always temptation is always present.
I think that's honestly relative to each man. You know, I can be the type of man that if I'm away from something, I'm not gonna be involved in it. But there can be a man who, even if he is away, he could still watch porn, or he could still have those desires without actually physically being around other women. So I just think that it's just relative. It depends on what kind of man you are, you know.
What do you think about that, G?
It's crazy. Like it's all over. It's self-discipline. And it's all over the place. Everywhere, no matter what. You could be at work, and the craziest thing, you know, it don't have to be where they gotta have the least, you know, clothing on. It can be the most clothing. You still looking like what's under that. You know what I mean?
If anything, that's more intriguing.
Exactly.
It's more intriguing. So then is it a way for us to stop it? I think it's not. It's just our natural, you know, and I may have my numbers wrong when it comes down to it, but you know, it studies show half our brain, that's what we think about. no matter what. We'll look and be like, Again, we're gonna go to that why.
Yeah.
Why is that? What is that? We want to know why that is right there.
Yeah.
So, can we defeat or can we, push back from temptation? No, I feel we can't because that's just in our DNA.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA. Can we find a way to try to help it? Yeah, we, like my brother said, just not be around it. Like, if like he said, and he used the alcohol, if you're a recovering addict from alcoholism, don't go to a bar, don't go to a club.
You have no reason to be there.
You don't have no reason to be there.
Right.
So then that's a step to help it. But will it actually stop? No, because like you said, you got the internet, you got TV, that's gonna make you like, man, that looks good, that drink looks good. So you're gonna still have that temptation sometime. Now when it comes down to the percentage wise, I don't know what the percentage may be, but it's going to be there. That percentage of that temptation is going to be there.
Yeah.
So it never will end. Just like with women, it's just not men, it's women too.
Yeah.
They have that temptation also because they intrigue, they want to see what's up.
Yeah.
It's just not us. It's just we go harder for it for some reason.
Yeah.
It's harder for us.
I actually think women probably think about sex just as much, if not more, than men do. Honestly, and I think it peaks more as they get older.
Yeah.
Because women know what they want when they become a certain age. They're more experienced. They're seasoned.
Yeah.
And I feel like women back in the past, they were shamed for having sexual urges or being out there. But now you see people like Cardi B, you see Lizzo. The sexuality of women is a celebrated thing in 2022. And I think before they didn't have that outlet, but now they do.
Yeah.
And it's out there, man. It's just what I've noticed. But ultimately, like I was saying, like if you're an alcoholic, you have no reason being in the bar.
Right.
The only time that self-discipline should really kick in are situations that you can't control. If you're around alcohol accidentally, you still should be able to have that self-control.
Yeah.
Not intentionally placing yourself in a situation and that that's your Achilles heel. That that's your weakness.
Yeah.
Why even put yourself in that position?
Is it safe to say that temptation is something that we just have to deal with and it's normal for men? For example, if you're happily married or in a happy relationship, is it safe to say that for a man it's normal and it's okay to have thoughts of other women? Even
it's healthy.
Okay.
If you tell your woman that, like, look, I'll never intentionally do anything or disrespect you or whatever, but I am a man. I do have feelings sometimes, but it's important because it's like how cheating could be prevented, right?
Right.
People don't try to make it work until after the deed is done, after the damage is done, versus an individual being proactive, like you've been disconnected from your spouse or whatever, and this other woman at work or a work wife or whatever, she's giving you attention, she's stroking your ego, she's making you feel good.
Yeah.
And you catch yourself and you're like, damn, like, I know where this is going. So then you go home and no woman wants to hear that, but I think ultimately, like, a woman will have an emotional reaction initially to that. Like, it's this woman at work, I think I'm starting to catch feelings a little bit, and I don't want to sleep with this woman. I'm telling you because we need to reconnect. We need to reset, and we need to get back on track. I don't want to cheat on you. I don't want to be unloyal to you. I'm telling you this. And, a woman, she hears, you what? You attracted? You like? But then I feel like over time, a woman will respect that because at the end of the day, you're being proactive as opposed to being reactive.
Yeah.
And so many people try to fix it after the fact. Be proactive. So there's going to be temptation, but don't hide from it.
Yeah, right.
Talk about it.
Be honest, be real.
Yeah, that's healthy. That produces a dialogue to where, that's the ultimate thing to avoid situations is just talking, being transparent. And not only that builds trust over time.
Yeah.
Is a thing about it, men are external and women are internal.
Yeah.
So then when it comes down to it, us men, we manage to we put it out there more than what a woman would do.
Yeah.
And like my brother said, yeah, go to your, you know, girl or wife or whatever and let her know. Because a lot of times what happens is that lust for your wife get lost.
Yeah.
Then you manage to lust for something else.
Yeah.
So that's when we talked about in the last podcast about having these dates.
Yeah.
You know, like when I get in my deep relationship, listen, you my woman, but you my best friend. You my girl. We finna kick it.
Yeah.
Because I want that where when I first seen you, I still want that.
You want that feeling.
6 months from now.
Yeah.
I want to be looking at a girl.
Yeah.
You still got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, and that's the thing. Once you manage to lose that, because that interest can get lost quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong with me.
Attention spans are short.
It's short. So then we go looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. If we manage and we manage to keep it in our relationship,
Yeah.
because both parties got to play a part. I'm not gonna just put it on women. I'm not gonna put it on men.
No.
Both parties got to play a part.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We just said women do it too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Some will say they do it better than us.
Man, some be called at me.
I agree.
What do you guys think about that? Do you think when women do make the decision to be unfaithful or, you know, partake in that type of behavior, do you think they do it better than us?
I think they do it. I don't think they do it better. I think they do it different. So I think for a man, and I'm speaking honestly, I think when a man cheats, I think it's a primal kind of instinct from, you know, our primal instinct to be with other partners, to have multiple women. Yeah. That's why some religions even accept it. Yeah. You know, it's because they believe that it's primal in a man to have multiple partners. But when a woman does it,
they're tactful.
Yeah.
Strategic about
it. Not only that, I think when a woman does it, I think it's because they're done with the man. I don't think a woman does it to have multiple partners. I think she really wants something real. It's just, you know,
when a woman cheats, she levels up, you know. But men, when they cheat, they level down. Like,
there you go.
They have beautiful wives.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a scandal comes out where they were cheating, and then what the first thing they do, they look up what the woman looks like. The woman doesn't hold a candle next to the wife. You're like, you cheated on this with that.
Yeah.
And it's just when women do that, man, a woman could be checked out from a relationship for damn near half a year. She's just plotting exit strategy.
Yeah.
She's like, I've already made the decision. I don't want to be with this man. So I'm just going to cross my T's, dot my I's, do what I need to do so I can dip out of here. Versus when a man does it, it's just like you said, it's primal, you know. Women are more, they're playing blackjack, you know. And then when they leave you,
they're gone.
They're gone. Not only that, but they're going to be with a dude who could do everything that you can do and better, you know.
You think that begs the question I wanted to ask you, when that happens, when a woman decides to leave, do you believe that there's a chance that they can rekindle what they had before she left? Is that even possible to rekindle that relationship again?
You ever heard that R. Kelly song, When a Woman's Fed Up?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
And he has a part in there where he says, if you ever get her back, it'll never be the same.
Never be the same.
And it's, I mean, when you damage someone's trust or someone decides, I don't want to be with this person, they're not it for me, I feel like in some instances you can revive it, you know, but in most cases it's kind of a wash, you know. Too much damage has already been done.
It never will be the same, even if you try, because you always will have that damage in the back of your head, even if you try to forgive it.
When a woman loses respect for you,
that's done.
It is done. And I could reference Tyler Perry when he did in one of his videos, Medea. He stated, and I can't say it verbatim, but he was like, what a woman does is she'll take from this nest and take it over to this nest. And she building this nest over here without you even knowing. So when it's time for her to go, this nest is already built.
It's like being in a car crash and getting brain damage. You're still alive, but I mean,
there's nothing there.
It's nothing there. That's kind of a relationship that when a woman decides she's out of there and you're trying to do everything, you singing to her in the rain, you got flowers, and she on the balcony looking at you like you crazy. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Right. Like, when a woman loses respect for you, because that's the number one thing. And that's why women are loyal to a man, is because first and foremost, they respect that man. But when they lose that aspect, everything else follows behind, you know. They say the way to a woman's body is, or they say you got to get in a woman's head before, and then her body follows. It's like, that's the same aspect when she's out of the door. Yeah. You know, when she's talking to another man or whatever, he's filling her head up with dreams and aspirations and like, oh, this is what life could be on this side. And, you know, she's slowly just disconnecting.
And it's crazy because, you know, I just came from the doctor today or whatnot. And, you know, the nurse lady, you know, that was doing my vitals and all that.
Yeah, okay.
No, listen. So we was having a conversation about our podcast. You know, of course, I was like, hey, you know, listen to it. We doing A, B, C, and D, and you know, she stated just that. She stated it's crazy how nowadays women present their body before their mind, and then now when you get their body, there's no mind. Yeah. But then if you present the mind first, then present the body, then you got something.
It's like planting a seed.
Exactly.
And watching, you plant the seeds in the dirt, you water it, you nurture it, you get that intellectual stimulation, and then all of a sudden, over time, that plant grows. Yeah. And it becomes something. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. What does a man have to do because in my opinion, guys, and I want to know what you guys think, it's almost... It's breaking up with a long-term relationship inevitable, as far as, you know, when a man has been with a woman for a very long time and he feels like, you know, because, you know, that I think that thought always comes to our head. I'm wondering what would have been with somebody else, or what would have been with, you know, something different. That thought always comes, and I'm being real, it always comes to our head. But how do what does a man have to do in a relationship to kind of keep that strong, you know, to keep that woman loving him, to kind of keep him from, you know, veering out and trying that temptation? So, you know,
what I can possibly say is they say it now. How you got her or him, you continue that. You can't stop that. You can't stop how you got that person. So if you want to keep our bond, how you got me, like I said in love, feed me. But guess what? You know, it ain't all about the feeding.
So there has to be a soul tie.
It has to be a soul tie. You know, not only just feed me, bring me something, show me something. You know, show me you can be on the same level as me, because I'm a thinker, like my brother said. We think a lot, because if you talk a lot, you think a lot. And you think deeply. So you got to be on my level with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just be on, it's okay to be on different levels. Because we need that sometimes. You know, and that goes into a conversation my brother had a day ago about, you know, relationships and 50-50. But be on, you know, if you can come to my level sometimes, then cool. If I got to come to your level, but you gotta meet me somewhere.
I feel like to talk about your question too, or to answer it, like you said, I agree. The same thing that it took to get her hooked on you, you got to continue to do that. It's like if you stay in the gym or whatever and you get a certain physique, even if you're not trying to bulk up anymore and you're just trying to, like, you have to maintain. You have to have a schedule. You have to have a regimen, a routine. You have to have a certain method that maintains that. Make it spicy, still date. You know, just make it fun. You know, like you said, the best friend aspect. That's the best feeling in the world, having a woman who you feel like is your best friend, because you can, when the romantic feelings aren't there anymore, that's going to be what carries you to the next level. That's going to get you through those hard times. Because I'm turning off you being my woman right now. And I'm turning on the mode to where you my best friend. Let's chop it up. Let's have a real talk right now. And then we get through that, and I talk to you in a way that a best friend will talk to another best friend, and you view it in a different perspective as opposed to you viewing it from a lover's perspective. And then once we get out of that, we can turn that off and get back to doing us. You know, it's just about that maintenance, and, you know, it's little increments over the years that really tie things together.
Yeah, right. So obviously, there, like I said earlier, there has to be a soul tie. But let me ask you guys something: the soul tie, in your opinion, is that something realistic?
Oh yeah,
yeah. How do you know? How do you know? How do you feel that's a soul tie? I mean,
it hits different.
Yeah.
It when I say it hits different, you just know, like the feeling of it. And sometimes you go back and you say, "Is this real?"
You know how I realized it was real? When I was back in my younger day, I was dealing with a woman or whatever. We had our thing, and we were really good for each other at the time.
Yeah.
But we just had a lot of different issues, and we ended up breaking up or not being together. So then maybe 4 or 5 months later, I was dealing with another woman, and, you know, what made me feel like the soul tie was real is that I just couldn't get that woman, the woman that I was with previous, I couldn't get her out of my head.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about her. I'm like, man, damn, she imprinted my soul. You know, I'm still tied to her. Like, we left things on unfinished business, and that made me be a believer of soul ties. You know, or you're physically involved with another woman. And, you know, that's when soul ties get interchanged. You know, it's like you're tango dancing and the souls intertwine together and they lock together. That's when that happens, on top of spending quality time with the person.
Do you ever know, though? Do you ever know as a soul tie? Because doesn't every man believe when they first get into a relationship that it's a soul tie? It's meant to be forever because, you know, you got that lust instead of love. And, you know.
I think it has to develop, though.
Yeah.
It's a development process. To have that soul tie, soul mate, is because we could say it in the beginning. Oh man, this is my soulmate.
Yeah,
but really, and let me take it to the next level. If you know you date somebody, if I meet a female and me talking to her, and I can say, man, this is my wife, because and we can go a little spiritual here. If God gonna show you that, He definitely gonna show you this is who it is.
Yeah,
because either they could be good for you, they could be bad for you. They could be both. But it's for a reason why they both. He can be like, this is you right here. This is what it is. Because he will give you these visions. He will give you these dreams to show you who it is. And will be put in your life. You will go through hell and hot water before that person to come, because he want to prepare you for that person.
Do you believe, you talk about soulmates, do you believe, because people have this perception of soulmates as just being that one person who you're just meant to be with. I think the population of the world is what, and shoot me if I'm wrong, 7 billion people in the world. So do you believe out of 7 billion people that there's that one person that is your soulmate, or do you believe multiple people could be your soulmates? I feel is one person for everybody. It's supposed to be one person for everybody. In a world full of 7 billion people.
In a world and full of do we know who that very one person is? No. Until they manage to come across us. Or we get that vision. We don't know, because God shows us, and again, I don't want to get too spiritual, because I don't want to downplay nothing or anybody. You know what I'm saying? But He shows, so we gets that vision that person, we don't know when that person is coming or where that person is at. But it's in this world somewhere.
What do you think, P-Lo? You think?
Honestly, I don't believe in the word soul tie. You know, like you said, there's 7 billion people in this world. There might be somebody perfect for other person, but I believe relationships is always,
it's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Because there could be multiple people who could be compatible for you. And you have a great life.
And that's the thing, compatibility.
Right.
And I think compatibility and having a notion of a soul tie, I think are very different. You know, because my wife and I, she's compatible. We're compatible. We have our ups and downs, but who is to say that 10 years from now we're still together? You know, I think relationships always work. I think you have to work to maintain that compatibility aspect of it, and you just have to make it work. Because I believe soul ties, I don't think you have to work hard.
You think it's more of a natural thing where it just flows? I mean, but I feel like everything you have to put work into. You can vibe with a person all day, but at the end of the day, you still have to figure out that person. It'll be a little easier, but like I said, there's no shortcuts to relationships.
Yeah, right.
You have to put in the work. You have to put in that maintenance so that over the years you don't grow apart. You grow together, and your relationship just is constantly elevating.
Yeah. That's it.
When it comes down to that, and I know we're probably gonna go to the next one. When it comes down to like a soul tie and a soulmate or whatever situation may be, and it do have to be developed. I think in order for that to actually happen, you got to go through the thick and thin. You got to go through the hot water.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to
trials and tribulations.
Yep. To know if that soul tie is there, because you know, we can't come right out the gate and say, "Oh, you're the one," because you may not be the one. Because that's where that go back to that lust may come in at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when you go through that and you go through them ups and downs and y'all fighting, like 50 Cent said in 51 questions or 12, whatever the song is. Do you love me if I was down? Do you love me?
Yeah.
You got to understand that is real.
Yeah.
He wasn't just making a song. That's some real stuff.
Real.
Are you going to love me if I'm down? Are you going to, be there for me? Are you going to be there to pick? If I was to lose my job today, or can you hold it down until I get back up?
Yeah.
That's where you know that soul tie is being built at.
Yeah.
Because now you know, okay, if I hold him down or if I hold her down, that's me. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Soul ties are very potent, man. Like, there's women that are married right now and their husband, they're not soul tied.
No, not at all.
It's stability. It's still that guy who, before they got married, prior to them getting married, who drove them crazy. It's just an unexplainable thing that they just desire that man, but for whatever reason, they can't be with that man. But this other man, he provides stability for me, and my life is good. My kids go to a good school.
Yeah.
He may not make me feel that way, but I mean, my life is good. I can't complain.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I've seen that, or vice versa with men. And that's why I believe soul ties are real, because they haven't been severed yet.
Yeah.
They're still bonded,
right?
Right. So,
well, it's a
It's a deep topic, man.
It's a deep topic.
We can talk about that for hours.
Yeah. So let us know what you think, please. If you have any questions or a comment, please write it down in the comment section of this video. Send us an email. Every bit of information that you need in order to communicate with us is on the bottom of this video. So please. Send us a message, and as a matter of fact, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to play a little game.
That paper.
The paper's coming out.
Nah, geez.
So,
so some of you never duck and smoke. Let's go.
Now let me let the viewers know something. I did not reveal these questions to these gentlemen. Okay, so this is going to be a complete shocker to these guys. All right. So, if you have any questions on everything you've heard today, please send us an email. Write it on your comment section, and we will talk about it on the next podcast, and we will try our best to answer your questions. But for right now, we're going to play this game, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions from our viewers. But you guys have to be completely honest. All right, spend some time if you have to do it. But
so you're going to ask us the same questions, or you're going to each ask us a different question?
Well, in the questions, I'm assuming I know you guys very well, so I know who the person is asking the question to.
Okay.
Some of these are questions, some of these are comments. All right. So I'm gonna start with you, G. So in this person, and believe it or not, she didn't, and I'm assuming is a female. She did not want me to say her name. She wanted me to keep it anonymous.
Jesus.
But this is the question. TJ asked you, did you know who we were talking about when they asked about the girl at work?
I quit.
And the question is, why didn't you guys, referring to all of us, why didn't we say her name?
I knew who he was talking about or whatever, whatnot. And one thing, like you said, we're not going to do, we're not going to put nobody, we're not going to put nobody's name out there.
Yep.
Yeah. Because then that's bashing. Like we said, we're not doing. This platform is not to bash, and we're not to put nobody on Front Street, because we trying to take this, not just this podcast. We lifting each other up.
Yeah.
And it's not just men lifting each other up. It's men lifting women up, women lifting men up. So of course not. Yeah, I know who he was talking about, but I shall not put their name out there, because that's a defamation of character. Regardless of
that defeats the whole purpose of this podcast.
We're not chatty patties.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're on a podcast, but we're not here to humiliate. We're gentlemen first. We conduct we're men first, and we conduct ourselves like gentlemen. So We're not about to reveal people's names and stuff publicly. That's just not our style, man.
Yeah, I reveal my own name, G Davis. That's me. I'll reveal my own name because if anybody gonna bash me, I'm gonna bash myself first.
Yep. Yeah. And I thought I thought twice about asking this question, but you know what? We got to keep it real. Yeah. And if they have a question, I'm gonna ask it. But that's a great thing, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want everybody to understand that we do not bash, especially women, because I know most of the topic of our conversation has to do with women, but we do not bash women. We're not bashers. We're not male chauvinists. We
love women. We appreciate women's contribution to the world.
Exactly. But we try to talk about the things that affect us as men, but not to bring women down. Right. And so Anonymous, there's your answer. All right. So TJ, Mr. Quincy Bands on Facebook asked, how much will it cost me to look like you, bro?
Ooh,
do you see what this man is wearing today?
Hey,
man.
Come on, big dog.
That suit is the suit of dreams, brother. I wish I looked like that.
Oh, man. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are too kind.
Dr. Image Consultant.
Man.
Oh, man. But to answer the question, man, just DM me, man. I got you.
Yeah.
Especially I would like to know his background. If he's the type of guy that rarely ever wears suits, or if he's ever worn a suit, or if he does, but he just wants to kind of spruce his wardrobe up a little bit. So, yeah, man, just hit me up. First meetings with individuals that I don't know or new clients, I'm not going to kill you, man, as far as the price goes. Yeah. I'm going to work with you, and I want you to believe in me and my vision for yourself. So, yeah, man, just hit me up. Pilo, he'll drop the social media and stuff, and then I'll reach out to you. I'm really responsive to all my clients. So I'm looking forward to meeting you and working with you, man. So
there you go, Mr. Quincy, man. Trust me, this man is the best at what he does. So please click on the link below and just get in touch with him, man. I mean, just look at this suit, man. Come on.
I actually tried to think I was gonna come in here and something like that today. I said, nah, bro. I had to come in my own image, man. He's the doc over here.
I love that though, because we literally have gone out to bars and spots, and I'm dressed how I'm dressed, and he's dressed how he's dressed. And he has his beer. I might have my martini lemon drop or something, or whatever I'm feeling like sipping on. And we all coexist in harmony, man. A lot of my friends, I love our differences. That's what makes us beautiful.
Right. So,
just he's him and I'm me, and we value our personalities and our perspectives.
Exactly.
Yeah. There we go. All right, so this is actually more of a comment than a question, and this goes out to you, G. Mrs. Steph Marie asks, or she says, just so you know, big girls do it better. I think she's talking about the comment about you liking skinny girls. So let's talk about
that's a setup.
That's so what's wrong with big girls, G?
There's nothing wrong with big girls. That's just my preference.
Yeah.
And again, we're not here to bash. We're not. That's just my personal preference of what I like.
Yeah.
Now, understand something. Have I dated big girls? Yes. Have I dated real skinny girls? Yes. Have I dated real thick girls? Yes. So I'm not putting it down. That's just my preference. Now, if I manage to meet a big girl, as what we calling it, or whatever situation may be, and she managed to rock my world, I'm there.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting it down. That's just my preference. That's all it is.
One of your most serious relationships, she was bigger.
Actually, and that's true. My serious relationship, she was actually a thicker chick.
Yeah.
And with her for a while.
Yeah.
But I didn't bash her about it. It was just like, hey, this is something different.
Yeah.
And I managed to be with her for a while. So I never put down, that's just my preference of what I actually like. Don't mean that I'm gonna always get it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, all right, well, Ms. Marie, there you go.
Just make them a dish and have a good heart.
And as a matter of fact, Mrs. Tanya Minaj asked, I just want you to know that I live in Milwaukee and I make the bomb lasagna. Yeah.
Listen, D in me.
Tanya Minaj. So Ms. Minaj, his information will be
I want to try
here.
I will. I want to try it.
I'm still stuck on that name, man.
Minaj?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great name.
You might get some lasagna and something else. Yeah.
You gotta share, brother. Sharing is caring.
I'm saved.
My man G's gonna have some lasagna with Ms. Minaj.
I just need. Let me get the lasagna. Let me see how it is.
You can tell a lot by the lasagna.
Most definitely. You know, that's, to be honest, because I love pasta. So, you know, that's kind of that's literally like one of my favorite dishes. Yeah. So if what's her name?
Tanya Minaj.
Miss Tanya. If you make some bomb lasagna, go ahead and hit my DM. Let me try it out. You know, yeah.
Try that out and a few other
Click on the link below. Click on the link below, Minaj.
Listen to this guy.
And as a matter of fact, just so you know, we all like lasagna. All right.
I will share. Once I try it, I will share.
All right. So this is a comment for both you, G and TJ. Miss Shelly E. She says, "I want to go out on a date with both of you." Is that possible?
She can
Together. She wants to date both of you, Miss Shelly E. She's from Milwaukee. She writes, "I want to go on a date with both of you." So we got to make that happen, boys.
Okay, Shelly, what's her name?
Shelly E. Okay. That's on her Facebook profile, Shelly E.
Okay.
Should I look that up right now?
If you want, but we're not gonna put her on blast like that. You know,
we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
But Miss Shelly, they just click on the.
That's interesting. Hey, listen, this crazy because my brother over here, I know he got something to say, but it's like he puzzled right now.
Yeah, I'm rarely at a loss for words.
He's lost because okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sitting this one out, you know. That's all you. Take her out on a date, man.
She said, "Both of us, you're not leaving me."
No, yeah, she said both. She wants to go out with both of you.
I guess we a package deal, man.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, though. You know, it's going out on a date don't mean that it's something relationship.
Yeah.
Type. It's just, hey, we kicking it.
Yeah.
So guess what?
Social interaction.
Well, if it happens, we'll bring a camera. As a matter of fact, I want to go too because I know I want to go too, and I'm going to bring a camera. I'm going to make a podcast.
Most definitely, we can get it. It could be just we going out having fun, having drinks.
We're going to have a good time.
We're accessible, man, to the people. So we're real people.
All right. So Mrs. Nasi. Okay, a KNA, interesting name. This is for you, TJ. She asked, you mentioned you dated different cultures. Who was your favorite?
That's a tough one.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Yeah, I'm imagine.
I really, okay. If I'm going to keep it all the way 100, probably the Asian culture.
Really? The Asian?
Yeah. I learned a lot. It's very therapeutic. I learned a lot about Asian dishes. Just the entire culture, man. It's just a very peaceful, zened out type of culture. They do a lot, but their mentality is less is more.
Yeah.
So they're not like too flashy or whatever. They're not, as far as personality wise, they're very thoughtful, very intentful.
Yeah.
They think about how their actions affect other people.
Yeah.
And like, I love that about, like, they don't even look you in the eye. Like, you know how we're Americanized, right? Like, if I'm talking to you as a man, I'm looking you in your eye. But in their culture, they don't, because it's a sign of disrespect. So it's always consideration for how something that they do affects another person. And as far as like just Asian architecture, food, like I love sushi, I love rice, I love all types of different dishes like that. Even the artwork, I love their architecture, just everything, man. So that also, Indian culture was pretty fascinating to me too.
Yeah.
You know, I love some curry, just the principles that they have. Like I like to dive deep into certain topics and stuff.
Yeah.
And really apply it to be a better man in my life. Patience.
If you had to choose
between the two?
Yeah.
Probably, I had a thought, but I'm not going to say that.
No, you have to say. You already said
about the Indian culture.
Okay.
A little, Kama Sutra. Just learning just different aspects.
Yeah.
But I'd say my favorite, to stay on track, definitely, I'm really fascinated by Asian culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Japan is one of probably the place that I'd like to go to, besides Africa, obviously. I would love to go to Japan and just study what they do. Because they've always been at least 10 years ahead of us.
Always been ahead of us,
when it comes to cars, like we talk about Lexus.
Yeah.
Like they're just innovative, you know. So I'd like to learn a lot from that type of.
They say that the Asian culture is the oldest culture, the oldest civilization in the world. So they're, when you say 10 years, I believe it's more like 100, maybe 200 years more advanced than us.
Yeah, they're very advanced, and
but Asian women are very inaccessible, aren't they? I mean, in my opinion, I've never dated an Asian woman, but they seem very inaccessible.
Yeah, they're more traditional, like their parents raised them to pretty much
stay in their culture.
Yep, stay in their culture, and the ones that don't, they're more like. They could be black sheep or kind of outcasted a little bit, or their family could just be more liberal or raised around a diverse set of people. But yeah, I mean, traditionally it is kind of hard because they stick to those norms, you know.
Gee, what was your favorite? You ever dated outside your race?
I have.
Yeah.
I Filipino, like I said, Indian. And I'm not saying it to be cliche or anything. I do love my queens. Because it goes to the point of they kind of know what you want already.
Yeah.
And is it good and bad? Yes. Because then, you know, they know what you want and they know how to get you.
Yeah.
But then I love for somebody to figure me out also. But then if you know what I want or whatever, you know, then it's easier for me.
Yeah.
You know, because then I don't gotta do so much with you. So I would give it to my queens that, you know, and I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me. I would stay in my culture, but I would date outside. It don't matter, you know. But my favorite number one, I got to stay with my queen.
You feel more compatible,
because they know, like,
exactly.
You know,
it's not certain things you have to explain,
right? Yeah. And like I tell them now, like, you know, if I'm talking to somebody, listen, I want you to understand me. Yeah. Like I said before, understand me. And now it's getting, you know, when I talk to somebody or conversate with somebody and I say, understand me, they get what I'm saying. Like, man, I get that. Because communication is key. Because we done had that for so many years, so many decades. It's communication. But then now communication been put to the side and you got to get an understanding now.
And it's valuable too, because we were talking about interracial relationships. Like, if you're dating a woman outside your race, like as a minority or a black man, we go through a lot of struggles in life. And I feel like a woman of the same race, you know, she understands that struggle more than anything.
Right.
And she'll be, when you come home and you just had a day where you've been fighting the world and you feel emotionally depleted, you're just like, she gets it. Versus someone from another culture, they could try to empathize with you and understand, but they can't, because they don't experience it every day. They don't drive while they're black. They don't. They're not afraid to get pulled over. They're petrified they're going to get shot, or be judged when you go in a store. Have people looking at you like you're doing something wrong and you're trying to patronize them, or even politics at the job. You know, it's just certain things. You know, because they deal with a lot as well, especially being black and being a woman. That's like. That people say it's like being black twice, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I can say now with that, and I know we probably got more questions or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I don't want to say I'm glad what's happening now and they seeing it on TV, but at the same time, because now when I go to that other race, I can. You know, you understand when I say certain stuff. Like, well, when we walk the street, we gotta look over our shoulder. When we drive in a car and we get pulled over, we gotta do certain stuff. Right. And nothing against what's going on, because again, I've been in law enforcement for years or whatnot. I'm on both sides of the ball: law enforcement, black and male. All sides of the ball. So
triple threat.
You know what I mean? But now that they seeing it on TV, now you getting to understand it. And it took a while for it to happen because it wasn't broadcast. It wasn't put out now. Now that it's being exploited, now you can understand. So when I come to you, sweetheart, and I say, this how I'm feeling, you can say, okay, I get it. That's all.
And that's very interesting you say that, because even with me, and I feel exactly what you're saying, because I live it. I mean, we, like I said, we have a very stressful job, and so when I go home, my wife she automatically knows, let me give them time to unwind, let me give them that moment, and you can say that, and every woman would do that, but when it's a culture, when you guys know what you've been through, you guys know where you come from, that understanding is there, and then she knows how to approach you after she's ready to talk to you, and I think that's very important in a relationship. So so it's a great question. So Miss Rebecca Taylor, she made a comment, and I love this comment, man, because it comes back to what me and you talked about before the podcast. And she says, I loved your program. I watched it with my husband, and we were both blown away on how responsible and mature your views are on every subject, or every subject was. I sent the link to some of my male students, and they all loved it. Keep up the good work, gentlemen.
Awesome.
Thank you, Miss Taylor. We try our best.
That's a blessing. Like, and I'm, to be honest, I'm not. We bless you for that. But also, I'm giving most honor first off me, because I'm third into this thing right now. I'm third body into the. I'm giving it up to P-Lo Dot. Because this is his baby.
It's his vision.
This is his vision. And then including, I'm gonna give it to my brother, because he started it. He helped birth this. This podcast, he helped birth this. So I give it to them, because then now I wouldn't be sitting here. So then now you getting different views that can go out different. This is a blessing. So we bless you for even putting it out there like that.
It's beautiful.
And I'm glad that, because this podcast is not only entertainment, but it's also educational, I believe. People look at this more of educational more than entertainment, and I like how there's a mixture, and people use this for educational purposes, which is amazing.
Our dynamic dope with the three of us is great. Like I was telling you guys the other day, there's somebody, it's more dynamic with multiple people, because especially that are different, because you have people that agree with you, disagree with me, and vice versa. Everyone has different personalities and different perspectives, so it widens the scope with all of us.
And we don't have to agree with one another. That's the biggest thing.
That's where you learn the most.
That's where you learn the most, because I know a lot about my brother, know a lot about my brothers. But then it may be something you'd be like, wait a minute, no, I don't agree with that. Then I'm like, okay, now we learn something new, because understand something. When people say, and this goes back to the relationship thing, I want to get to know you. That right there, I throw that out the window, because I feel it takes a lifetime to get to know a person. It takes a lifetime. You would never. It takes a lifetime. So, and I'm just putting out this for women. Understand something. When you say I want to get to know a man, understand it's gonna take a lifetime, sweetheart. You're not gonna fully get to know that man, or man, you're not gonna fully get to know her.
Exactly.
It's gonna always. That's why arguments happen, debates. Because now y'all still getting to know each other. So we got to understand that. Just don't put that man down and say, I want to get to know you more. Sure. Let's take this lifetime journey to do that. And if you're willing to take that lifetime journey, then let's go. If not, be like the bus. I can drop you off, or I can pick you up.
I think that's where most men fail, because they fail to understand that relationships is a journey. When you have arguments, you have fights, it's all part of the process. Because some men, as soon as they get into an argument with a woman, or the woman disagrees with them, like, oh, you know what, I'm out of here. I can do better. I know this chick, and they don't understand, and that's where maturity comes in. It's a process, and it's a process that never ends. Do you ever get to fully know a person? I don't think so. I think that
until death do you part.
Disagreements, they allow you to grow. And the reason why you'll never truly know a person, even when you think you do, you think you've mastered them, that person is evolving constantly. Every year that person's going to evolve another 10 times. And you just have to continue. You just have to be a lifelong learner when it comes to date, not only in life, but just dating.
Exactly.
And don't always get complacent and think you just got it. Always be able to pivot, always be able to just understand that this person is going to change, and I'm either going to change with them and grow with them, or maybe their changes aren't conducive to us being together.
Yeah.
You shouldn't leave because you argue or whatever. Now, if it's toxic and it becomes a thing, then yeah. But disagreements here and there, it's healthy, and it produces a dialogue for a relationship, and you grow.
And I'm gonna I put this in a perspective because I'm a picture guy.
Yeah.
I like to use metaphors or whatever, or however you want to call it. It's just like, you know, the TV show and the game and the cards are Pokemon, right? If you actually think of that, when you manage to get a Pokemon, or, you know, when we used to play the game with it, it comes in an egg. Yeah. Just like anybody comes in an egg. And when that egg hatch, it becomes this certain thing. Yeah. And after it hit a certain level, it evolves into something else. Then it evolves into something else. However many levels it managed to go, it goes until it hits its ultimate level. Yeah. So when we look at a relationship, the ultimate level of evolvation, if that's a word, don't beat me up for that word, y'all, please.
Yeah. You spell it.
That ain't gonna happen.
I'm messing with you, bro.
But if it managed to get to that ultimate height or whatever, that's when Dev do his part now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
the ultimate form.
That's the ultimate form. Yeah. It's no more after that. So it takes a lifetime.
In a higher place with a higher being.
In a higher place with a higher being. And then even in them levels that they going up, you still managing to learn more about that. Yeah. I'm learning more just because, you know, once again, like, before me and my brother knew each other, I never knew he was when we had our interview at the same time, the same day, because we got hired at the same time, had our interview at the same day. Yeah. This man came in just like this. Yeah. And I'm like, I looked, first off, I mugged him. Who's this guy?
Yeah, right.
But then, and we didn't say nothing to each other until we got to talking. Yeah. Yeah. And then he learned me and I learned him. Yeah. And we managed to go to different levels. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, he do suits. Oh.
This is why.
Yeah. This is why.
It's a light bulb. Yeah.
So we managing to evolve with each other and we learn each other. Yeah. And that's how it is in a relationship. You got to evolve and you got to learn each other.
Yeah. People fear what they don't understand. That's it right there. That's human nature. You just have to learn it, you know. Right. Educate yourself. Liberate yourself.
Yep. There we go. Yeah. And TJ, the last statement is for you. Actually, Miss Susie.
Oh, jeez.
Miss Susie Cakes. That's her profile name. Susie Cakes. She says, "Damn, TJ, I think I'm in love with you." That's her comment. Oh. Says, "Damn, TJ."
I love you too.
We all love you, Miss Susie Cakes.
That was so safe.
I mean, I've never seen this woman. I mean, her name is Susie Cakes.
Yeah.
But
maybe cakes. She likes cakes.
We love you. From the Elite Talk podcast, we
love you, Miss Susie Cakes.
I appreciate you. I do.
There you go.
I appreciate you.
Miss Susie Cakes, blessings, queen, blessings.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. This episode 2 has been amazing. You guys have any final thoughts?
Go ahead, bro. I'll let you end it.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm glad that we have the overwhelming amount of support from the community. We have positive intentions. We want to bring awareness to, you know, a lot of different things and aspects in the community. And I just want to thank you for just viewing us and just allowing us to do that and bring you content. And we're going to give you honest, raw content. Yeah. And we're always going to just be authentic with you and be accessible to the people. So just keep the questions rolling. And we're doing this for y'all. You know what I mean? I mean, we're doing this for the culture. So I just want to just express my gratitude and appreciation for all the supporters. And, you know, my man Pilo over here, man, he Dr. Dre over here. He got the recipe, you know, man. So we believe in his vision and we're following him. Yeah. And thank you for the support.
Yes. One thing I could say, don't let something control you that you can't control. Self-management.
Yeah. Yeah.
That goes a long way.
It does. It does. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being on the podcast today. And catch us on the next podcast. We're going to bring more honest conversation, more truth. And again, if you have any questions, click on the link. Miss Susie Cakes, Click on the link.
Get them.
All right.
Get them.
Get it. But click on the links below. You can catch us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Apple, Google, wherever you listen to your podcast. Yeah. And check out our website at www.digital262.com. Again, thank you for watching the podcast. Peace.